Welcome back. You are now live with Shania Blanco right here on Real Facts. Welcome. All right, so now you guys know that we have been, we've been going over a lot of fatal attraction relationships. Just recently, about the doctor, taking his wife up on the hill by themselves for her birthday, tried to kill her, all because he assumed that she was cheating, or she may have cheated, but he didn't want to, just get a divorce or separate. He wanted to actually take her out. The other situation with the couple that we were talking about, give me 1 second, because I don't want to mess up anybody's names. So the case with Ashley Elkins and also Lasagna Aggie. So basically, there were pretty much a lot of people going through this fatal attraction situation just recently, just this year. And some of it may have happened last year sometime, and a couple of stories probably had happened years ago. Just to give you guys a friendly reminder of this fatal attraction situation and the characteristics of it, how to be aware of the people that you connect with, because it's a very, very serious matter. And a lot of people, they aren't, they don't take it as serious as they ought to, because I mean, for some reason, when people get in these relationships, they feel like, when a significant other starts acting really wild or being really crazy, that it's some kind of love that they, I guess that they think that they're in love with this person when in actuality they're not. All right. It's more to it than that. I know it for young people it seems exciting to have someone going crazy over you or obsessing over you. You get the thrill out of somebody just making you feel so important. But the reality of the situation is that this person is crazy. This person is a sociopath or something like that, or just crazy. And you don't want to be around crazy people. I know a lot of people joke around with the word crazy. Oh, I'm crazy. Or they think I'm crazy and they laugh about it, and joke about it. But there really are people out here that are crazy. And no one wants to be connected with somebody that's insane. All right. I'm just being honest. We need to just bring that thing out into the open. So tonight I want to share with you guys several characteristics that you should, pay attention to if you're involved in with someone and you're curious about, this person because they've been acting kind of weird lately. So you want to just check into this situation, do a background check, or if you notice some things, some red flags, you would know how to plan your way out of that relationship or that situation or whatever it is. All right, so just to give you guys a rundown of what fatal attraction is, it's an obsessive behavior, controlling tendencies, jealousy, clinginess, and a rush into a relationship, as well as a tendency to project idolized versions of a partner. All right, so anyway, the behavior signs are obsessive behavior, excessive thinking, talking, or fantasizing about the person with an overwhelming urge to be with them. Controlling tendencies, attempting to dictate someone's actions, thoughts, or whereabouts, often accompanied by jealousy and possessiveness. Clinginess, an excessive need for reassurance and constant presence, often leading to a lack of independence and space. Moving quickly toward commitment without proper consideration or understanding of the other person. They don't even know this person, but they're infatuated by their looks because, this person is just so gorgeous or so beautiful. So, hey, we're going to be in a relationship together. Jealousy, excessive suspicion and anger directed at a partner's relationships or activities. Mirroring, subconsciously adopting a partner's mannerisms, speech patterns, or actions. They start mimicking them for some particular reason. They start just doing everything like them. Now, there are situations or relationships where people, friendships or whatever, they get to hanging out. And of course, for some reason, when people hang out with other people, I guess what should I say? Their style, their swag or whatever rubs off on you. You start thinking alike or something like that. You guys begin to not like the same stuff or something like that, some kind of like normal best friend type stuff, that's different. But as far as like somebody is like copying you, just mimicking everything that you do, there's something about that. That's very suspect. So just keep an eye out on stuff like that. Physical contact, initiating or seeking out physical touch, such as holding hands or hugging all the time. That clinginess again, like constantly has to be around this person 24/7. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being with your significant other a lot, spending quality time, but sometimes it gets kind of dysfunctional when you have to take care of business or something like that, and you're not able to get your goals accomplished or finish anything that you started, like your tasks or whatever the things that you got going on, because you're always up under this person. Like your life is past, like life is just passing you by. Now, that is very, very, very much so suspect. Asking a lot of questions, intense curiosity about the other person's life and background. Now, there's nothing wrong with asking questions, all right? So don't get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with asking questions because you need to know who you're talking to, who you're dating, who you're connected to. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But the problem comes in when, where you been? Where you go? Who's that on the phone? Stuff like that. Like a constant curiosity. It's how it is when someone they abuse your time. They abuse the time that your energy that you give them. So they start asking a lot questions about things that's like irrelevant, I should say. No, they can't handle their emotions, difficulty managing emotions, which can lead to outbursts or withdrawal. There's a lot of people that's not managing their emotions quite well, obviously, because we have these shows that's going on. Even Paris Hilton decided to start a Fatal Attraction podcast. But I think hers is more so about a lot of murders. But I mean, that's what the Fatal Attraction thing leads to when a person is like psycho, all right? So yeah, so they can't handle their emotions. They can't even talk the same. They can't even match the tone of voice. They don't know. It's almost like they lost themselves in the moment, and they just lost themselves. Now some can come back from feeling that kind of way, from feeling like it's the end of the world because this person doesn't want to be with me anymore, and some can come back from it and move on. But then you got the people that can't deal with it. They can't take it to the point that they'll end up trying to take your life or take their life. And that right there is a serious matter. So that's why it's important though to be asking questions sometime, but in a healthy way, not in a controlling way. Like it's important to get to know who you're connected to because you just never know what a person's background is. And they could have a clean background, so don't get it twisted. But when I say background, I'm saying like as far as like how they were raised, what kind of family they have, what kind of history does the family have? Just have they been traumatized and what kind of trauma did this person intake? Like some people have been traumatized, but not to the point that they're out here hurting people and trying to take people's lives or something like that. But some people be traumatized or they get traumatized and they just withdraw from the world and they isolate themselves until they feel like them again or something like that. And, people that experience crazy stuff in their lifetime as a kid or whatever is growing up, they need to seek therapy. Some are in counseling. Some people don't believe in seeking therapy because they don't, want people in their business. And that's true. You can't really talk to, in a sense, you can't really talk to certain people because, they're spread everything around there. You can't vent to certain people because before you know it, the next door neighbors know exactly what's going on with your life. And you didn't tell them, it was the person that you confide in that told all of your secrets. So, hating what you once loved. As a relationship progresses, initially attractive qualities can become repulsive. So at the beginning, you guys were just really into each other. Everything was great. Everything was fun. It was like, paradise. right? But then as the relationship goes on, moves on and progress, you find out or you guys find out that you're not really interested like you thought you was, and somebody wants to leave, but the other person is holding on to you and they don't want you to leave. And it's quite normal for someone that does it that's in love with somebody that they wouldn't want them to leave them or whatever. But it's a certain way that you handle situations. Like you can't force somebody to be with you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, hey, if a person is not attracted to you any longer, things just aren't working out, it's not the end of the world. It just means that you guys aren't meant to be. It's time to move on and move on to, something greater, something better. So obviously God was splitting you or separating you guys because if it was all good, a person that's in love with somebody, people that are in love with each other for real, they won't get tired of them. I mean, they get tired of them, but they won't get tired of them to the point that, hey, I want to leave you. I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm done. No. Once you love somebody, you will always love them. No matter what, you will always love them. I'm not going to say no matter what because people will take you there. Literally, people will take certain people that have these characteristics will bring you to a point that you once loved them, but because they're trying to destroy you or manipulate the situation and cause you to, fumble in life or something like that, or, just trying to destroy your entire life, then of course, you made that person, if you're the aggressor, you made that person fall out of love with you. Nobody wants to be with somebody that's abusing them mentally or physically. All right. Mentally or physically being abused is not a healthy or normal relationship. So just take some of those characteristics and apply it to what your situation is. I'm pretty sure that there's more things to add to this particular thing. Possessiveness is simply the fear of losing your partner, and it might lead to feelings of fear and anger if you're over possessive over your partner, or if your partner is over possessive over you. They like to use psychology, that first of all, I wanted to say that a person is not going to reveal their true selves. Normally a person isn't going to reveal them true selves to you in the beginning. That's why it takes a lifetime to know somebody. Like people can be married for like 20 years. It's statistics. They could be married for like 20 years and separate, all because they just grew apart. It's just not what's happening anymore. So it's a 50-50 chance if you stay married or stay together, because some people don't believe in marriage. They just live, they just go together. So it's a 50-50 chance that you stay together because, you guys love each other and, you end up growing old together. Then, that right there was very much so meant to be. But if you've been married to this person, I don't know, for 10, 15 plus years and you guys had these children together, you bought this house or whatever, you built this business together, and once upon a time you guys were so in love with one another, but one day you just wake up and you realize that this isn't it for you, and it's a bad thing. It's a really that it's a really heavy situation upon the other person that's trying to make the relationship work. So they don't know how to take it because they're basically soul tied to this person. Some people are soul tied; they don't even really like their partner. They're soul tied to them. That's why they keep coming back. So you can be with somebody and you wake up one day and then you just realize that this isn't it for you anymore, and the other person is heartbroken because they feel like they've been with you all this time and put all this time in this and effort in this relationship or marriage, and you don't. I guess they're confused, but normally a person doesn't just wake up and just decide that they don't want to be with somebody. There had to been some other kind of stuff that happened over the years that caused this person to be like, hey, I'm not going to take this anymore. They could have been being mentally abused, physically abused. There wasn't any respect in the relationship or the marriage. So this person decided that they're going to love themselves more. They're going to fall in love with themselves and walk away from this situation. So I believe that's what happens in certain relationships. Some people, they fall out of love and decide they don't want to be with their partner, but they don't actually, they don't actually stress that. They don't actually physically tell their partner that. They just go out and cheat. And they continue to cheat because they're so tired or don't want this person to be with somebody else. So they go out and slip and do something that they're not supposed to do, and not they didn't handle the situation good. So now they go back and their partner finds out that all of the cheating had been going on, and then next thing you know, 911 is being called, excuse me. 911 is being called because now you guys are fighting physically. The arguments was going on over the years, and now there's a fight going on, and then now somebody's trying to kill somebody, you know. So just try to, be more mindful of your connections and how and of your emotions, because you may like this person, I don't know, this year, but you might not like this person later on. You can never know if you're going to be with somebody for the rest of your life until you actually live life with that person. And you find out things that they didn't really have, they didn't really share up front with you in the first place. And a lot of things change. People change. Nothing stays the same. Not even nothing stays the same, not even the earth. Okay? Things are always growing around here. So just try to, be be comfortable with the process. I'm gonna say that. Be comfortable with the process. If you feel some type of way about a certain situation, then maybe that's God telling you, "Hey, it's time to let this go. This isn't going anywhere. I got somewhere for you to be or someone else for you to meet." Sometimes God does that, but he's never going to have somebody to go upside your head, or try to kill you or try to destroy your character, or try to, whatever, to harm or hurt you. That's not how God is. That's not what love is. Let's put it that way. That's not love, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope that this helped a little bit for you guys, or a lot for some. Just be careful with your connections. I know that you're looking good, smelling good, and feeling good. All right, and you want to mingle, but make sure you get to know a person before you just get involved with somebody, and then because it's easy to get into a situation, but it's very hard to get out. I met someone the other day. They said they had to pray themselves out of this situation. That's how bad it was. And it was obviously a soul tie. Anytime you got to pray yourself out of a situation, you're soul tied. Because, a person that's not, locked in with somebody, that's not, spiritually tied to somebody, can just simply walk away. Just like you meet someone at a bar, you're not interested in them, you're going to just walk off with no feelings attached. But it's hard for those of you that have a hard time walking away. It's because you're soul tied to this person, and every soul tie is not from God. All right, it's an ungodly soul tie. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wasn't gonna be on that long tonight. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please stay locked in with Real Facts. I have more Fatal Attraction stories coming for you. Today was just about the characteristics. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your day.
I want you to breathe me